Hey y'all, and welcome to Watch Cheryl Scrap Live for December 2020. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd. It's in the afternoon, and this will be our last Watch Cheryl Scrap Live for this year. And we'll be moving on to 2021 and some fun stuff next year. I'll go ahead and chat kind of briefly because we missed I think we missed August, September, October, and November chats. Ugh, is that
Maybe.
right? Maybe it was just September, October, November. I don't know. It's the whole part of this year has just been a blur.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, yeah, so y'all know I had diagnosis of breast cancer. It was caught very early. It was going to be, a quick thing. Unfortunately, I had an infection. I've just been off antibiotics a little over a week, and they're still trying to decide if I should finish my radiation. At this point, I just don't want to. I'm so tired. And I was telling Courtney that I hurt my right knee 2 days ago, and so I just kind of definitely worn down in body. I'm like, can I exchange my body for a new one? That would be lovely. So I want to kind of talk today about what happens when you're a memory keeper and things happen in life that aren't fun, and how we get back into our creativity. And I'm telling you, it's been a real struggle for me, and I know lots of y'all have had health issues and emotional issues with family and relationships. And um, you know, my sister-in-law passed away at the end of October. She had cancer as well, and so that kind of all those things, um, don't really spur me on to be creative. Other than my sister-in-law was my paper scrapping buddy. She and I did that for 10 years together. And so doing memory keeping reminds me of her and reminds me of why I want to record my memories, because she has all these amazing scrapbooks that her daughter now has. So I don't know how much scrapping I'll do today. I think I may be doing a little bit of chatting with y'all, and I'm gonna try to scrap, but it's been difficult. It's been difficult. So, kind of pop in and say how you're doing, how you're, if you have questions about how to get started scrapping again, what to do when you're faced with obstacles that just seem insurmountable sometimes. Um, Excuse me. I'll let you read our chat for us, Courtney.
Yep. Yeah, Kayla says, yep, August to November.
Yeah.
Hannah says it's not your year. Kayla sends prayers and gentle hugs. Kim found a page she made in March just as we were going into stay-at-home orders that was mostly text about how she was feeling with a bit of elements. She said it was just for me, but I decided to put it in the family scrapbook because it does tell
Yeah.
a story. And then Hannah also says big hugs for you. She gets it.
Yeah.
Marilyn says, can you take photos of your sister-in-law's work and get them into a book for you? It might be good therapy to laugh and cry about it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you,
That
Marilyn. I'm gonna write
is.
that one down.
Yeah. Kim says it can be very hard to get back into scrapping sometimes. Taking a class on it or doing a learning scrap helps. Yeah, I'm doing a class this month about journaling Christmas because I figure if nothing else, it'll be different than any other Christmas. Kind of like a document your December, but more focused on the stories, I guess. Because you guys know
Right.
me, I like to make you do all the story writing. And so I'm hoping that kind of helps bring back some desire to scrap. My project life has been the only thing I've enjoyed doing lately, so. And then Angela says that she's struggling. She can understand where you're coming from because she's got physical and emotional fatigue right now. The kids'
Oh,
medical
bless your heart.
conditions are being high demand these last 2 weeks. That's a struggle too. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I will definitely be praying for you because that's so hard.
Yeah. And then Renee says she's gotten copies of paper layouts and put them into a digital book.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's an interesting idea, Marilyn. She's taking the same photo every day out our garage door with a look down the driveway, hoping that the weather varies a bit. More of a journaling approach. That's cool.
Right.
I like that idea too.
Okay. Well, I know one thing that helps me is looking through my photos, and I have continued to take photos, but I'm still, let's see, still back in June. I still have quite a few months I need to get into Lightroom. So I know that'll be a process that will spur me to creativity because I'll be like, oh, I want to scrap that, or that was a funny memory, or whatever it happens to be. Um, so looking through my photos, I know is a good thing. And also um, getting a new supply, getting a new kit
Hmm.
um, always helps me as well.
That is always
So,
fun, isn't it? I actually went back and rediscovered an old kit that I had. It's oh, do you remember Splendid Fiends? She retired like
yeah.
right as I was getting into scrapping.
Uh,
And she has some really fun little quirky stuff. And it's funny because she had done a free set of journaling cards. I don't know if especially the international, you probably don't know, but there was that huge furlough that happened in the United States. Like, what was it, 2018 or 16 or something? 15? Oh, wow, it's been a while. Where all of a sudden they laid off all these people because the budget wouldn't pass through the Senate and all this political
right,
crap. And she had these cards, and I was looking at them. I'm like, huh, some of those cards fit right now.
right.
She was
You're
ahead of
like,
her time. But that's been fun, discovering a product that I'd forgotten about. That can kind of help too for me. Yeah, Olivia and Holly Bell look really good together, Marilyn. They do look totally comfy.
oh yeah, that was, when was that? That was like a couple of days ago. Let's see. Yeah, that
Kim, I love.
was,
Go ahead.
yeah, that was towards, it was the 19th of December last year. So I'm just gonna pick one of these, I think, and we'll scrap that. Okay, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's good.
I like Angela's first addition to her DYD is a journal card with her to-do list.
Yeah,
And then Hannah said she made some photo albums to focus on the good time. And since there's nothing to them, it was faster. So it was
right.
easier to scrap. But this made me laugh. So Kim says she's fairly confident that she's getting a large scanner for Christmas. I'm going to scan all my creative memories books. I want these in digital format for my kids. You know what, Kim? That's
Yeah,
actually, I've been pushed to do that just because I've been moving. So mine has been more just taking photos rather than scanning. And my goal now is to organize them and actually throw them in a book to print them out digitally because, yeah, those paper books were just so heavy and so thick.
it's crazy. I was
Hmm.
pulling some out when we were, um, putting some boards together with photos and stuff. And I'm just like, compared to my photo books that are just, light and easy. Uh, yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
I've almost forgotten how to do this. That is crazy. Your
Just blame it on the
skills.
program. There's got to have at least been a couple updates since you've last been on.
Yes, yes, that's what it is. Exactly. That's what it is. Okay. All right. We're gonna
Yeah, Hannah,
export that.
Cheryl's really good at taking selfies. You can totally tell that. But you'll notice this is what she likes to tell people. I don't know if she'll say it or not, so I'm going to. Is that you'll notice she has like 12, but she'll only post like her favorite ones and she'll get rid of the rest because the
Oh,
goal is
yeah.
if you take 12, one of them's going to be great.
Yes, it's so true. Use unique names. Okay.
That's cool, Renee. She's been focusing on photos of 2 different families and getting Shutterfly books for them. And then she'll print 12 by 12s for her. She's got one family done and is working on the photos from another family.
Oh yeah. Okay. So here, I was like, what are they talking about? My selfies. I wasn't even paying attention.
We could see him. Sorry, in the image basket, we could see him.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. We start out, and of course, I'm trying to tilt my head in different ways because of the reflection on my glasses. And then I'm doing, different looks. This one might be my little pouty look. I might send that to my husband.
With a sign, all I want for Christmas.
Yep, I'm missing this software, or this tool or whatever. So, I don't know that I deleted any from this session, but like there are some I definitely like better than others. Um, in fact, I think I liked the first one the best, and I used it, this first one here. So sometimes the first one, you're like, yay. And I don't remember, I think this was during the time when I was actually getting ready like every single day. It's
Aw,
amazing. Um,
I love it.
yeah, that's by the wayside now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close out Lightroom because I know that's the,
Do
and
you ever
then we'll
find that you'll go back later and I don't know if it's just like the time or whatever, but I'm more willing to delete some of the ones that aren't my favorites when I go back later. Like if I were to look at photos from yesterday, I might be less willing to delete them. But when I look at them
right,
from a year ago, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need all those copies.
right. You're like, I don't need all that. All right, let's
Yep.
see.
I don't know if letting it sit and meld helps me to be able to go, you know what? I don't need 7 selfies of myself or 8 pictures of my kids sitting there doing schoolwork. Number 9 was awesome, Hannah. That was the one with your pouty face. When you're like, please, your puppy face.
Yes,
Please.
please, please. Okay,
Hannah
let's
usually gives
see.
up after 2 tries. Renee's avoided selfies for 2 years. You know, I used to do that, and this is not a preaching, and I'm sorry if it comes off that way, but I used to, and then I realized that I was really sad at how few pictures I had of my mom, and I realized it's because she didn't get in the picture. And
Yeah,
so I was like, you know what? And then there was the time when she felt fat, and then there was the time when she was on a diet, and then there was, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. This is how my kid will know me. I might as well be in the picture a couple of times. So,
yep. I I
yeah,
usually don't like to have pictures taken of me unless I have my hair and makeup done, and I've had to get over that and just
yeah,
let them happen as as they're going to,
yeah,
because, uh, you know, it's just the way it is. That's how I am most of the time, and how they'll remember me is with my granny gown on and, uh,
yep. But you know what?
um,
That's how certain parts of your life were. Like
yeah,
my friend talks about how she remembers with her 5th pregnancy, which was her last one, her next oldest kid was like 6. And so they were old enough to they do kind of remember this time, but she was so incredibly sick that she spent like the whole time curled up in this couch. And they remember mom in the oversized chair. And that's what life was at that moment. And she's like,
right,
I'm actually kind of sad that I don't have any pictures of that time because that's what it was. I mean, she's like, I mean, at the time I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Don't. And she's like, but in the end, she's like, but that's 9 months or however many months. And that's what they remember for that time anyway. And just
right.
that moment of time doesn't make my whole life. And I was like, oh, so that kind of helped me also go, okay, I need to get in the picture more.
Yeah. And I think too, um, with my sister-in-law passing away, you look at the pictures totally differently. Yeah, because you're not looking at makeup or hair, you're looking at facial expressions and
Hmm.
who they're with and what they're doing, and it doesn't matter. You're just looking at how happy they were. Um, so
Yeah,
not that everything has to be completely happy, but um,
no.
you know,
Allie
okay.
Edwards took a picture once that I saw, and it really, helped me think. And it was a picture of her like, okay, so I'm going to say in the shower, and that sounds really bad, but it was just like her top. You didn't see anything. It wasn't like that. And it was just like mostly her face, and it was focused on, and she wrote about how, because it was during the time when she got divorced. And so she wrote about how, you can see that her face is sad and she's upset and she's crying. And she said, it's just the pictures like, this was what I did for like 6 months. Every time I got in the shower, I cried because I didn't want the kids to see me cry so much. And
Right.
like that moment hit me. Like that was just as much an important part. Is she may be trying to be happy during the time with her kids and, trying to make happier memories, but that doesn't mean the other side doesn't exist.
Right.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that's
So,
fine, Renee. You know what? You don't have to do selfies. But I am glad you were
yeah.
in some photos. And, I don't think you always have to smile. We joke about my friend's daughter who is 10, almost 10. She'll be 10 this month. And we call her Grumpy Cat because it's so rare that you catch a photo of her smiling. Usually when you go to take a photo, she looks at you and she just gives you this glare that you're like, oh, I just made her mad. And all you've done is say, hey, I just want to grab a picture of everybody. Oh, and you just get this glare. And so we've called her Grumpy Cat, or she'll have like an unhappy face just looking at you with her chin stuck out. And you're just like, yep. So her mom jokes because her mom's like, yep, this has been the case for about 4 years, is all I get is Grumpy Cat photos.
You're like, no. All right. Let's
So
see.
Renee, I kind of like mask wearing because I can mumble at people and they can't hear me. Because
Now
she's been
you wouldn't
self-conscious because
do
of her
that.
teeth. So she's like,
Yeah.
it's awesome because nobody. Oh, I have, Cheryl. There have been
Yeah.
quite a few people when I'm like, well, aren't you just an overprivileged piece of?
Yeah.
But they don't hear me, so it works out.
So
I
it
try
doesn't
to be
matter.
kind, but there's certain moments. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's see.
um I grabbed from this year's
Jefferies. Rachel.
document your December, and this is her all the little joys, and I grabbed the big um her bundle. So has a bunch of stuff in it. So I
Cool
thought I
bundle
liked
in the oh,
the
it's fun.
um I like the browns in this. That's why I picked it. I was like having a little bit more to pick up the woods and, or the
Hmm.
orangey color feel, but it's going to have a Christmas look because, you know, it's,
I like it.
I'm just going to start piling stuff on because I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Hi, Monica. Glad you made it. Oh, Renee, she forgot to
Colors.
take a selfie in October when she finished voting. So you know what I learned? I took a selfie of me and my husband holding our mail-in ballots before we went in to drop them off. And I learned that that's actually illegal in some
Legal.
states.
It is. It's illegal in
Illegal.
Florida.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. They're like,
And so
I didn't
we were reading
know.
the Nevada law and we're like, okay, so so the Nevada law says you can't take a picture of yourself with someone else's ballot. And it says you can't show the ballot who you voted for, but it doesn't actually say anything about the ballot, like just the envelope. So I was like,
You're like, I don't know.
I think I ended up leaving it up. It was like one of the random Instagram posts I put up. And I was like, I'm just going to leave it for now.
It's just gonna be here.
But yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't know that actually is like completely illegal in some states. It seems like you should be allowed to take a picture of yourself, like something to say you vote.
Yeah, you have to be outside of the polling location. You can't show the ballot. Yeah, you can't take anything inside of the polling place here unless
Yeah,
they've
you
changed
can't
it
in Nevada
recently.
either.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, you can't take any inside the voting place. You can't. But that was the same in Massachusetts because I remember when my kid went and they were like, oh, that's a cool way of showing them since you can't take any pictures and show them. I'm like, so normally I just have a picture of myself after with my cute little I voted sticker.
right.
But oh, it was on your mask? That's so cool, Renee. The problem is I didn't get an I voted sticker because It was a mailed
Yeah.
ballot. And when you dropped it off, they didn't hand you one. I was so disappointed.
All the
I will admit, I
joys.
said that, no sticker?
Okay, I think that's what I'm going to use. All the little joys. What a cute little.
Oh, I like how the fun and family piece is sticking up too.
Yeah,
At the bottom right there, it says fun family.
and that's just part of the piece of paper. It was already. I'll pull it to the front so you can see it. I mean, it was already. It already had the stitching. I mean, if you're going for quick and easy, man, you got it. Already got some good shadows. So I'm just piling stuff on top of here.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
Marilyn's like, no one's come knocking at your door. Like I moved, they can't find me.
You're like, no,
I
you
voted
can't get me.
legally. I was a legal resident when I voted. I moved after. I am all moved, yes. My child had 2 blissful weeks of school, 2.5. And then he was back home sitting at my kitchen table.
And you're like, this wasn't supposed to work out like this.
But it was nice, and I appreciate it because he got to know his teacher and he got to know some of his classmates, and I got to unpack everything, unpack the house. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. But at least he
Yeah,
got some in-person time, and that's the positive I just keep looking at is he got in-person time.
right.
So yeah, Hannah, it's been wonderful. We've gone on walks, we've done all these fun little things. I'm like, there was just it reached the point that there was so little to do in Vegas because there's like 2 outside spaces and
Yeah.
they were crowded because you have 2.5 million people going to these 2 outside spaces. And here it's like our cute little town has like all these little walks. Like we went on what's called a story walk,
Oh,
and it was, you heard of these, Cheryl?
I
A
don't think
story
so.
walk? So what the library did, they actually set up a permanent one. And so it's those, when you walk up to something spectacular or something important and it has those
Wait.
plaques.
I think I saw you post about this on Facebook.
I
Did
did.
you make a post? Okay.
I did
Um,
make a post on Facebook. Yeah.
yeah, but go
You
ahead.
might have
Please
seen
tell
it.
everybody. No, tell
But
everybody about
so
it. It's cool.
yeah, so they take the book and then they set up the book inside these little like weatherproof things and you walk along and it's like a mile walk. Well, it may have only been a half mile or something, but you just like walk down and you read the story as you walk. And so it keeps your kid interested. And then they'll change them out like every quarter or something. And then in the summer, they plan on changing them more often because it's on this walking path that they have set up. So, and then they're doing a Christmas one that we have to go downtown and see that I'm excited to go see too. But yeah, it's this just fun little random things. And I'm like, I really enjoy that about like a smaller town and in the Midwest. We didn't have that in Nevada. Yeah, Maryland, it's quite a bit further from Nevada. Renee, we got about an inch of snow maybe, but it like melted by noon. So it was on the car and then it was off the roads and stuff really quick. It wasn't bad at all. My brother sends me a picture because he's up in Canada and he's about 7 hours north of me. He sends a picture and he's like, I think this should be all my snow for December. He got like a foot of snow.
Oh,
So no, Marilyn, I'm not. My husband or my brother is. He's up in the Great Lakes area, but I am actually farther south. We are about an hour away from Cincinnati, an hour away from Louisville, and an hour away from Indianapolis. So, yeah, we are kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's kind of nice. But we're close to everywhere. We're just nowhere. Oh, I'm planning on it. Louisville looks like it'll be a fun place to go visit, but things need to be open.
yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna go up to Indianapolis and see. They put up a big Christmas tree, and I guess they have some really cool decorations we want to go up and see. But this outside, so it's still open and all that stuff. But I'm like, yeah, a lot of the places that look really fun to go see are all indoors and closed, and Moving during a pandemic is not the funnest thing I've ever done, by the way.
Yeah.
I highly don't recommend it unless, you have to.
Oh, this comes with a fun stamp font. Hmm. I think I'm gonna have to use that.
That would make sense, Marilyn, because isn't that a brand? Like, is there a large bat in Louisville? Like, for some reason that makes sense, like a slugger, Louisville slugger or something. Like a baseball bat is what you're talking about, right? All of a sudden, as soon as I said it, I was like, I hope she doesn't mean like a real, but like a bat that flies. Oh, I'm okay, promise. Yes,
Okay.
yes, there is one. The Slugger Museum and Factory. Oh, see, there's a new place to go. I'm gonna add it to my list. I have a list of places and things I want to go see. Let's add Louisville Slugger. So enough about me. How are you all doing?
Yeah.
We used to have bats in Vegas, Maryland. In fact, here's an interesting story for you guys because it's probably one that's never going to be covered on the news. So the Luxor pyramid on the Strip is the giant, the giant Egyptian pyramid. So that light is super, super bright. So that light attracts all these bugs. And so it's like this whole ecosphere right above it with all of the insects attracting all of the bugs, and so they all kind of sit there and hang out. Well, they turned it off a couple times because there's nobody on the Strip. And
Right.
so all the bats were out in the neighborhoods. So like we ended up having this whole like probably 15 bats living in our neighborhood because they had left the Strip because the light was off. And then they turned the light back on and apparently they just didn't go back because they found that there were bugs around us too. But it was just like this weird phenomenon where all of a sudden the bats like spread out across the city. I'm telling you, some of that was horror movie type of stuff.
Right. You're like, what is happening here?
Hannah, I totally agree. Her page is turning out so awesome.
It's getting here.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take a little bit off of, I think I'm gonna take a little bit off of this one because it's, I've made two of the G's, but I don't want them to look like the same stamp. So I'm gonna take off the little line
Oh
on the
yeah,
top of the
cool.
second one. And I just did a layer
Is there a
mask
reason for
to do
that
that.
though?
Hmm.
Because if it was really a stamp set, wouldn't they be the same stamp?
Yeah, but this little piece right here and
Oh, but
that
you would
piece,
stamp it differently even if it was the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
Gotcha. So Kayla's trapped in
So
the basement. Speaking of horror movies,
you trapped in the basement.
the painters have it all taped off and plastic up for painting today. She's like,
Ooh.
I won't complain because at least work's getting done so we can be closer to having our house back.
Ugh,
Yeah, Angela, it took me a minute to catch on to that. Stamping with the same stamp twice wouldn't be identical.
yeah.
I
I
don't know
meant
why I
the
didn't think that. So are you going to
yeah.
change the E slightly too then or no?
I probably should, shouldn't I? I think I'll take off maybe that piece. So I'll add a layer mask and grab my
You know, it's
brush
sad,
and
Angela. I still play with stamps in my planner and I still didn't catch that concept.
that's
Marilyn,
gonna
I love that. I know it was an honest question, but when I read it, it made me giggle. Kayla, are you living in the basement or just visiting for the day? I love it.
poor Kayla.
Ooh, Kim finished her renovation just before the pandemic started. That must have been nice. Marilyn was going to suggest that about the G and you did it yourself.
How about that?
You beat her
Great
to the
minds think
suggestion.
alike.
They
Great
totally
minds think
do.
alike. Especially when it comes to
Okay, I'm really
scrapbook.
loving the subtle red and green to it. Like it subtly looks at it and you go, oh, it's Christmas time. But it's not like, hi, it's Christmas. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not because
I,
the
I
picture
like
doesn't
that.
scream Christmas, but I like that subtle. I like pictures that are like scream Christmas too, but just kind of fun to have a slight difference.
I was going to make that smaller, but I don't think I am. I do
Ooh,
think
Joy
I
wants supper. Hi, Joy. I hope you get a good supper.
well, let's
What is
see.
for supper?
Yeah, like what are we having?
Just, you know, ideas.
That is the only thing good that's happening right now with my
Cooking
knee.
at home or?
Like, yeah, I don't have to cook. Yay!
Ah,
There
yay
are
for
some
small
benefits,
blessings.
right? Like, I mean, I could cook, but I would be miserable.
Yeah. Hannah says they're
Oh,
still in lockdown there. And despite being inclined to cocooning, I'm ready to go. She's like, I'm starting to get a little stir crazy, but
yeah,
she's
I think
hoping for
everybody is.
school soon. Well, and the overseas, the rules have been a lot stricter. So, I mean, the ones here, I'll be honest, the ones here are not really being enforced.
Yeah.
They may say they're out there, but they're not being enforced. But Marilyn wants to know how your back is doing.
Meh. It's the same. Uh, I, I, I'm just gonna go with it's not really changed much. Um, I mean, I've had good pain control with my stimulator and my medications, and for where I am right now, it's what I can expect. But with my knee and having to walk differently, it's been a little bit of a challenge. But you know what? I keep saying that I can do this. I'm a strong woman. I can do this. I can do this. So
You
it's a
are
little
strong.
it's a little bit more than I really want to deal with. But
Yeah,
ta-da, you know,
I understand that.
that
It's always
little
hard.
quote is like God doesn't give you more than you can handle. People say that. I'm like, yeah, he does.
Have
Because
you seen the retort to that one?
I can't handle it. No, I haven't.
There was one that was, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And the person responded and said, I think he mixed me up with someone else.
Yeah. Well, I think he does give you more than you can handle, so you rely on him,
Yeah,
but you realize
grow.
your frailties, and you know that you can't handle everything on your own, um, and rely on him, and that gives you a peace if you can do that. It's hard. It's hard sometimes to do that, uh,
Yeah.
but I try. Yeah, I try. That's all we can do is do
Angela
our
says
best.
God that it's a misquote. God won't give you more temptation than you can handle. Kim, I just don't want to handle those big things. I agree.
Yeah.
So Joy says
Yeah.
Christmas stuff is the best because so much of it has her name on it. And I
Oh,
hadn't thought about that, but that's like such an awesome perspective.
that is fantastic. Like, what?
It's like, ooh, buy all the kits. Look, it has my name on it. It's supposed to be for me.
Yes, I have all the excuses. Like, ooh, I need this, I need that. Oh, look
Yes.
at the little birdie.
Aww.
I love all the papers, the little pieces that she puts in here. It's just
Hmm. I love
fantastic.
watching you layer them because I'm never sure what to do with them. And you're just like, woo, layer, 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 layer. I'm
Well,
just
the
like,
the
ooh.
more layers, the better, right? You know me, I'm gonna
Yes, I
just
do.
put everything on here. Look at that one, the little stamp. Oh, so
Oh,
cute.
so you mean when I look at the MOC challenges and I see the clean and simple and I just start laughing because I know Cheryl's gonna love that challenge.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they're big. They're a big challenge for me. Yeah.
But that's good because it's kind of how you can grow
But I
as a
did like the
scrapper.
one, I think it was the one I did last year or the year before. Um, it's one of Olivia, and I just like it. It's just really simple and um, cute. I don't know. Turned out good. Do, 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 do. Hmm.
And then I was gonna say, Kayla says she's just visiting the basement for the day, but she's been down there most days since October 30th. Okay, are you ready, Cheryl? They're
Yes.
remodeling most of the main floor. A new kitchen, laundry room, family room, and 2 bathrooms.
Dude,
That's a project.
that's sure hard. I just, oof, that's a lot.
Yeah. Hannah says, show us. Show you what? Show you the page she did last year for Clean and Simple?
Oh, hold on.
Yep. I was like, what does she want?
Hang on.
What does she want you to show?
Okay, let's see. Posting.
Kim, I sometimes will also just grab a paper and drop it like 4 layers down and see what it looks like, and then just kind of move the paper up and down to see how many layers I should let show and how many I don't need.
Mm, let's see. Mm,
Oh, that's kind of sad. You can see how your days went because you can see like
okay, this
less,
was,
less. That's a cute
um,
one.
yeah, this is from last year. And so that was a very simple one of a manicure. Uh, let's see. Apples, day at the beach. None of these are
I'm like, none
simple.
of these are simple.
I think that was the journaling.
Angela said her son came in feeling all wrong. Do you want a hug? No.
That was
Disappeared
the
rapidly.
vellum. Let's see. Um,
Oh, wow.
uh,
Marilyn just got an order from Blurb because she does the magazine format.
right.
892 pages in 9 different books, and one was MOC. I had never thought of doing a magazine for MOC. That would be really fun to do.
Yeah.
Have your own little MOC
Okay.
magazine?
Let's see. Mm, no, it must have been the previous year because,
No, it'd be Julie's, probably. Julie's are usually clean and simple-ish, right? Maybe
yeah,
not.
that's January
Nope,
1st, so
that's the
that's
first
pretty,
ones. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna have to have been 2019 that I scrapped that, maybe.
That's not bad at all, Marilyn. She spent $155 for the whole order.
Okay, I know it was a picture of Olivia. She had the season.
Well, Julie's wasn't technically clean. Okay, let me rephrase that. Julie gave us kind of a recipe to follow, and most of us just didn't make it clean and simple. But if you looked at Julie's
Right.
actual page, it was totally clean and simple.
You're like,
That's what made me
what?
laugh because I was like, yep, we all did. We all made them these big pictures and everything and followed the rules. And she was like, yeah, here's my page. And you're like, oh, look how clean and simple that is.
You're like, what? Okay, maybe
This is
I'm
kind of
just
fun. Like
losing
it
it.
gets me excited. I'm like, ooh, ooh, that technique. Ooh, that one. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not finding it here.
Oh, Kim just got family calendars. She goes, let's hope
Okay.
this year's better than last one.
All right, let's see
Okay.
here. Okay, first I'm gonna save this
Have
before
you
something bad happens.
so Ryan Reynolds has a new commercial out today. It's for Match, and it's like Satan is dressed up and he's on a match date. They're going through 2020. And it's just like you can't help but laugh at it because of how absurd it is. And you're just like, yeah, okay, I could see that. You made me think of it, Kim, when you said, let's hope next year's better. Because the woman he gets matched with, she's like, oh, just call me 2020. You're just like,
Like,
no, no,
no,
no.
no, no, no. That's,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been saying a lot what the 2020. You know, what the
Uh,
2020?
what the 20? Oh my gosh, I watched Netflix has this cute, or is it Netflix or Disney Plus? Maybe it's Disney Plus. Has this cute little movie called Noelle with Anna Kendrick, and she always says, "Oh my Garland." I listen, and every time I hear that, it just like sticks in my head for the next week. Oh my Garland.
You're
It's
like,
so fun.
what?
I enjoyed it last year too, Kim, but it was so fun to watch this year because it's just this cute little take you out of what's going on. I
Okay.
love her too. She's adorable.
I'm gonna find that picture, that layout that I'm thinking about now. Because it's like a challenge now. I'm like, wait, I can see it in my head.
Scrap hunt. I'm pretty sure it's Disney Plus, Kayla. I don't think it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Disney Plus. Like now, mm, it seems like a Disney movie.
I think I remember
Yes, Disney Plus. Can I tell you? Okay, I understand the whole Big Brother thing and how annoying it is that everything knows everything that you're doing. But I'm like, I kind of like when I Google things and Google tells me, "Oh yeah, it's on Disney Plus. That's where you've seen it. You're subscribed to that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, thanks for letting me
now.
know that."
Okay, okay, it's
Bye,
opening up.
Ella.
Here it is. It is actually from 2018,
Oh
month
goodness.
of challenges, but there it is. That is pretty simple for me.
For you
Anyway,
especially.
yeah, but it's still one of my favorites. I could see it in my head. I just could not. I was like, what is the title of that? I was like, she had red lipstick. I was like,
Yep.
duh, it was red lipstick. So I searched and there it is.
Aw.
So what is that? It has 15 layers. Are you serious? And like one, two, three of those are custom shadow
And one
layers.
of those is actually empty
One of those is empty.
right there.
No, this one.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
a pattern overlay.
yeah,
Yeah. So technically, like four of them are
yeah.
stylish type thing.
So yeah, I got a little heart, a flower, a tag with my date on there. Yeah. And you know, some papers like this one, the craft paper, it just looks great.
Yeah.
Different. No, I don't want to
Do
change that.
you have the other version? Other version of what, Marilyn?
Oh, she thinks I probably dressed it up. That one I didn't.
Oh, yeah, that one you actually didn't. That one you left.
Yep.
Usually
But
you
I
do,
I
but that
think
one
it
you left.
was the next year. It was a layout of Jay and I did the minimal version, and then I was like, oh, I don't like the way this is, so I'm just gonna add more. But for that particular one, I'm gonna leave it like it is. It has a perfect title. I couldn't see anything I would want to add. Well, maybe maybe a little
Now,
bit
but
of
not then.
maybe a little bit of white gesso or something on it, but I'd still want to keep it pretty simple.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is kind of a mess, but okay, so we'll round this out talking about how we get back into scrapping after we go through something or lots of things. Um, and for me, it's going back to things that work for me every time I make a layout. So I tend, when I am tired or I'm not sure where to go, I end up putting my photo to the left side of the layout. I don't know why. If it's a single photo layout, I'll end up doing that. And then my layout will tend to cascade from the upper left to the bottom right. And a lot of my layouts look like that because the kits are different, the photos are different, you know, what story I have to tell, you know, the pieces aren't in the same places every time, but it's a it's a go-to pattern for me that I have over 10 years of doing digital scrapbooking started to notice. And it's not a surprise that it happened again today because I was sitting there looking and I was like, okay, like I'm feeling the urge to go ahead and pull some stuff a little further down here. So I like need a little bit more of those sequins, I think. I'll just have just a couple, and maybe we'll pull one of these little flowers over here. Let's see.
It's not a bad thing to have a go-to pattern though.
I don't think it
Like
is. I mean,
I think it can do exactly what you just said. It can help you when you sit down and you're like, oh, where do I start? Instead of a blank page, you just go, you know what? Let me just start with what I normally start.
yeah. Yeah.
They're all saying interesting. I bet we're all sitting here going, huh, I wonder if I looked at all my pictures, if I would see a pattern like that.
Yeah.
I think my pattern is I always start with 3 pictures when I'm like, and I don't know that I always arrange them the same, but it's always, I throw 3 photos on there and then I'll set them up, and that's my starting point when it's been a while.
Right. And you're like, okay, this is my thing.
Yep. This is my thing. Where do I go with it?
Okay. I like that red there. And I think I may like a little, nope, I didn't want to do that. Get there. We'll just have a little bit out. Because if you were paper scrapping, for instance, this label, because it's tucked under the photo, I would likely cut that in half. And then I would use the other half somewhere else on the layout, which would be maybe over here to bring that flow of red down. And then I'm going to turn this little red
Marilyn
flower.
says, scrapbook yourself. Monica
Yes.
says templates is what she'll jump to. Renee says her pattern is templates with multiple photo spots. And Kim says she finds a kit that brings her joy, usually Bella Gypsy. That's a cool way of looking at it too. Is there a certain designer you gravitate towards when you're feeling that?
Well, I knew, well, first I was looking for something that I knew would help bring my photo into part of the, into part of the layout, that there would be the browns and a little bit of red. And I like having the title in black as well because Holly Bell's black and white. So yeah, so I chose that, but also Rachel has that very eclectic feel in her kits with all the paper pieces, and I don't know, it just has like an antique vibe, and that's something that is natural to me. I like that. So I think her saying, Bella Gypsy kits bring me joy, and then you're like, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's awesome. Kayla likes to find a photo she wants to scrap, or sometimes a kit she wants to scrap with. I have, when I load photos into Lightroom, I mark them with 3 stars. Don't ask me why I don't use 5 stars. I'm just weird. But I'll mark them with 3 stars if there's something that I'm like, oh, I absolutely love that photo. I love that moment and I want to scrap it. And so if I'm really struggling getting back into it, and this is what I need to do, is I'll sit down and I'll scrap. When I'll fill up just the 3-star photos, and then I'll find just one of those to scrap. Because I know it's a photo that I definitely want to scrap. I'm not going to spend forever trying to find which photos, and then, because sometimes that overwhelms me.
Right.
I take too many photos and that can overwhelm me.
Yes.
It's a problem. But I'm going to take too many photos today too. So it'll be good.
What photos are you taking today?
We're going to go and check out a Christmas tree farm.
Ooh, what fun. Yay.
I know. I'm hoping.
Yeah. You're hoping it happens. We put up our Christmas tree on the 15th. And that's a thing that the four of us do together. The rest of the
Yeah.
decorations, however, are mine to put out or not as I see fit. And I was wanting to have them done in 2 days, but that did not happen for a variety of reasons. And so it took an entire week before I was ready to put the boxes up. And it's not like there's an extraordinary amount of things in here. It was just feeling good enough to do it. And what I did was I went back and looked at last year, the photos I took of my decorations, and I'd just be like, okay, where did I put that? And I just did the same thing I did last year. I made a few little tweaks or changes, and I had gotten some stuff on clearance at the end of, last year that I added to my Christmas collection. But so we're already decorated. However, I still have not taken photos of the decorations because I need to do a little bit of dusting before I do that. Because things are quite dusty in here right now. So
Yeah.
I need to just go ahead and take them and just call it like it is. It's just like,
But you know what?
it's snow.
It's the moment. It's the
It's
moment,
snow.
it's the day, it's where you're at, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I hope you get your tree today. How exciting.
Yeah. It's
Is it
different.
now? Do
Something we've
y'all
never done
usually
before.
do? Okay,
What?
so y'all usually do artificial trees then.
Okay, so we've done a real tree the last 2 years, I think, 3 years.
Yeah,
Because our
but not
artificial
picked
tree
it.
died. And so we ended up just like not getting one, and we were going to get one, and then we never did. And then the next year came around and we never did.
Right.
And then we moved here, and I'm like, well, this, we're just renting for right now. So I'm like, I don't really want to buy a tree that fits the space here and then move somewhere where I'm like, oh, I wish I would have bought a bigger tree or this kind of tree. So we're like, we're
Right.
just going to do real tree again, which I don't mind. I actually kind of enjoy it. It's fun. But normally our only option in Vegas was to go to the Lowe's or the Home Depot and pick up a tree in their parking lot,
Yes, gotcha.
This, you actually have a real Christmas tree farm.
Farm.
I'm like, ooh.
We actually, you believe it or not, in Florida, we have Christmas tree farms.
Oh, I totally believe
And
it.
I've been there, but I do not enjoy a real tree.
Yeah.
And that's because I grew up with an artificial tree. And actually, my mom still has the very top piece of that artificial tree. And my uncle made a special base for it. Um,
Aw.
but the year that she got a real tree and did not put out the artificial tree, I was miserable. I was just a miserable child. I'm sure I was very annoying, but I wanted that look. I wanted that tree, that same
Hmm.
tree we'd always had. And like the poor thing, it was beat up. Looks so bad. I feel bad for my mom now. I'm sorry. I just wanted the, kids like,
Hmm.
routine. So, I think that may be the only tree she puts out this year because she's had her own string of health issues too. So, yeah, we'll see. We go over and she usually cooks dinner and we put her tree up and her nativity and some other little bits and bobs that she has. So it's a nice time.
Yeah.
I was going to
That
ask
makes
y'all,
sense.
I should have asked y'all this as well, how y'all did for Thanksgiving. Were you able to have a nice meal? Did you isolate? Did you see family? What'd you do, Courtney? I didn't even ask you.
Oh, wait, actually, for the first time in years, my husband was home. And so, because he's still
Well,
finishing
how
up
about
training,
that?
so he was home. So we just had the three of us had a meal, and we called and talked to Grammy for a little bit, and that was it.
Yeah. Uh, this year was my mom's year. We try to alternate between the moms, and uh, Jay ate with us, but then he went over to see his mom. She was at her sister's house. So I stayed pretty much at my mom's, but then did go by there to his aunt's for about 30 minutes, just, just to see his mom, because, she just lost her daughter. So I wanted to make sure that I saw her as well. But with my mom's health conditions, I told my husband, I'm like, if you go over there to see her, you can't come back over here. Because, because I think there was like
Yep.
25, 30 people there. And
Mm,
at my mom's, it was the four of us, and then my mom and my sister, Anna. So,
yeah.
it was a small thing. But even as small as it was, we did not know how to cook for a small amount. We still had, the turkey, and we had five pies that we made. An apple pie went to my uncle for his Thanksgiving with his kids, and we had two pumpkin pies, and one of those was actually eaten on Pie Day, which is what we call the day before Thanksgiving. So me and my mom and my sister spent all day, like 11 to 7:30 or so, 8 o'clock, doing our prep, which is brining the turkey and doing all the sides. And it makes Thanksgiving Day much less hectic, even though it still is, because you're trying to get everything in the oven and get it baked.
hmm
And that's hard to get everything done at the same time. But we had so much food. It was crazy. Um, but we had lovely leftovers, and that was nice to have.
That's nice. Marilyn says
Yes.
they cooked for themselves and brought it over to their mother-in-law, ate on TV trays in the living room.
Yeah.
Kim had her son-in-law and daughter, so they came over and they love to cook. And then they Zoomed her son and daughter-in-law. And then Kayla went to her sister-in-law's and had a small group because she doesn't have a kitchen.
Oh,
And then
well.
Renee says she can't eat a regular meal, so she stayed home and had scrambled eggs. But next year, you just wait because she'll be able
Yeah.
to eat anything she wants.
Oh, well,
Yeah, Christmas will be the same around here too, Renee.
yeah,
But
small
we'll
and
cross that when we
quiet,
get there. Yep.
right?
So, well, thanks for scrapping
Okay.
today, Cheryl. It was nice to have that.
Yeah, and it was nice for me to get back into it. I've done one here and there, but it's been hard. So if you're having a difficult time, whether you're with us right now as I've done this, or if you're watching it later when I post it for our community, um, just know that you're a strong person, and you can make it through anything. And you know you we're memory keepers, so we want to, even when it's hard, we want to make sure we record those memories, because that's our passion. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. I'm go ahead and stop this um, recording here. So long, farewell.